Welcome back, America. We're here with our good friend Rebeccah Heinrichs and Hudson Institute Senior Fellow, Keystone Defense Initiative Director. Welcome back, Rebeccah. A couple of things I'd like to pursue with you. What do you see as a good deal? Is there a good deal? As long as it's backed up by military might, how do you analyze what's taking place right now?
Well, I think President Trump's red lines are exactly right. I'm extremely skeptical that the IRGC, the Iranian militants, are going to accept the deal. But President Trump has said, look, we're not going to lift the blockade in exchange for the Iranians simply promising to work on their nuclear program. We're only going to remove the blockade if the IRGC opens the strait completely, does not charge a toll, gets back to keeping the Strait of Hormuz as international waters. And that, so far, is not what the Iranians are willing to do. The president has also said that phase two, really articulated by Marco Rubio, phase two is if the strait is totally open, we get back to the way it was before Epic Fury, then we would have a real, no-kidding dismantling of the Iranian nuclear program. All of its enriched uranium has to get out of the country, and the United States is either going to do this in cooperation with the IRGC, which again, I don't believe that the IRGC will cooperate with us, or we will take it by force. So I am very skeptical that the Iranians are going to cooperate, but according to the president's own red lines of what would be a good deal, I think that that would be in the interest of the United States.
To me, the issue comes down to enforcement. How are these things going to be enforced for exactly the reasons you state? And it also seems to me if there are going to be red lines, and there are, they have to be enforced during his presidency. Because I don't see this happening after his presidency. If a Democrat's elected, I don't see anything getting enforced. And I see the Iranians thumbing their noses as they always do. What do you make of that?
Well, right. So what President Trump has done is he really has a vice around the IRGC, and he's not moving it. He's not releasing any pressure. While he continues this, really opportunity for the Iranians to negotiate. What do I mean by that? We have them in a total economic vice. $500 million being deprived to the IRGC through the blockade. At the same time, the State Department continues to announce more sanctions on these entities and networks that the Iranians are using to try to evade American sanctions, including in Hong Kong, which, by the way, is China. China is trying to help the Iranians evade sanctions. So the Iranian Central Bank, in fact, just announced that there's 2 million more Iranian youth who are unemployed now. So as the Iranians continue to resist a deal that works for the United States, it's the Iranians who are paying a price, but it's because of the Iran regime. So President Trump is willing to keep all of this in place while he negotiates. And of course, our Central Command is still taking out IRGC launchers, taking out their command and control in these islands in the Strait of Hormuz every time they fire at American ships. Do I think that another American president will do that while it attempts to negotiate? I don't think so.
Now, what about China? There's other countries too, but China's observing this. They're watching this. You think they're impressed? You think they're not impressed? Or what?
So I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, China is watching everything the United States does vis-a-vis Iran, which I think is why the stakes are so high. So as you really articulated so well, the IRGC obviously is still committed to the Islamic Revolution. It's still funding proxy groups in the region, destabilizing the Middle East. It's also a proxy for China. China, the Chinese Communist Party, backs and supports the Iranians through evading sanctions. And of course, China would love for the United States to essentially back out of the region in the Middle East and let Iran maintain coercive control over the Strait of Hormuz, because that means China has control over the Strait of Hormuz because China backs Iran. That's why it's so important that when we end this conflict finally, it has to be through the United States imposing its will on Iran, not asking the Iranians to let us open the strait, but enforcing it, because we do not want China to have it. Last point on this. The United States, because of the direction of President Trump, demonstrated overwhelming military force and military competency, both in Midnight Hammer and in Epic Fury, and you know the Chinese have to be impressed by that.
See, my concern here is beyond 3 years, beyond 5 years. Do I think the Iranian regime will honor anything? And the answer is no. Why would they? They've seen how our country reacts. not Donald Trump, I'm talking about post-Donald Trump. They see what Congress is saying, they see what our media is saying, they see what these woke right buffoons are saying and the isolationists are saying and so forth. Speaking of, when we come back, because your expertise is beyond the Middle East, what do you make of people, woke right, going to Russia and making a big deal of it, talking about how fantastic it is over there? It seems like there's a conga line of these people doing it. We'll be right back.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.